Hello, everyone. Thank you for your patience. Welcome back to the third part here of Burning Crowns. Oops.
So are we fully caught up to reality? Do we snap back to reality? And
Yes, but gravity is still there, and mom spaghetti.
okay,
A lot of
okay.
mom spaghetti. So, what would we like to do?
I
I
was
mean,
initially just gonna propose Mason up and leaving, but it's my understanding that someone would like to interact with them.
I mean, it sounds like Aurelius and Swan both want to stop you from leaving.
Yeah.
I would like to challenge that belief.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, I can set the scene for you. Aurelius would come to Mason's rooms. Of course,
It's a tent. We don't have buildings yet.
Yeah. Goes to your tent, and polite as always, he does the equivalent of knocking on your tent door, which is like I probably just goes knock, knock, knock.
Come in, Aurelius.
So he enters, and he says, Mason, I have a few pieces of business if you have a moment.
Sure. And I gesture to like
that you're packing, and he's like, oh, I owe you some long overdue thanks, as well as an apology for the length of its taking. As the preeminent servant of civilization, I have been remiss in not thanking you for the service that you performed in aid of civilization when you helped me rid the world of that demon.
Oh, I think Mason does a legitimate oh, or something to that effect, and they walk across the room and give you a hug. Just be like I know it's overly familial, but that's just what they'll do, right?
He'll respond in kind, and he'll say, "Not only do you have my own personal thanks, but I feel it is my duty to offer you the thanks of the Church of Abadar in the form of a boon. I have considered and have come up with two different options for you to choose. The first, a millennia ago, sorcery, magics, and faith, the miracles that I can perform, they were not seen as so different, so alien from one another. I would like for the church to bring sorcery back into the fold, to recognize you and your art as not being other and alien worthy of shunning, but while a dangerous and surely a secretive art, one that the church can appreciate. Now, I know that you don't usually care for these things, which is why I offer you an alternative. I will provide you what power I have and bless your skill so that when you next need it, you will have the power of Abadar as well as the power of your own sorcery.
I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Would you prefer me choose right now? Because it is such a great thing. I don't know what to do with myself. I could choose now, but I don't know that I could do your boon justice.
Please take your time, Mason. There's, in fact, another matter that I would wish to ask you about as well.
Please sit.
Yeah, he sits and he says, I understand you've made a study of creatures and things of the supernatural. I don't know if I told you this, but when we first entered the Greenbelt, an enemy was revealed to me. A being by the name of Narissa, or that's what it calls itself.
This being the same creature that Irovetsi spoke of.
I believe it must be. Its power is great enough that it shattered the miracle of Demetrius Antonin Lucian Sertova.
Have you seen it? I assume her, but I wouldn't know.
I've only heard the voice. The creature seems female, but who knows with such things?
Why do you, if I may ask, like I understand that it shattered the miracle, but so many things in this world want different things, the gods themselves included. Why are you so quick to label this thing an enemy?
It told me so.
Oh.
It told me that if I didn't leave, taking with me what civilization I tried to bring to the Greenbelt, that I would be destroyed.
Yes, that does sound like a threat. Or I guess at a different juncture, a poorly worded warning. Yeah, okay.
I
So
seek
about
your
such
aid
creature.
in helping me to research this creature. I'm not fool enough to think I can do it on my own. Your knowledge of these things, it goes beyond mine. I ask
you.
that you help me in this endeavor.
I nod to you. I'm like, Mason, like they seem to think and they're like, very well. I will look into this matter for you and inform you what I find.
Are you going somewhere?
Yes, I am. In the search of knowledge, in fact. Why, it just so happens that this coincidence is very beneficial.
You believe knowledge of this creature would be best found elsewhere?
I believe knowledge of this creature is probably best found in many different places, here included. But there are such places as deep, forgotten, and ancient centers of learning. I am going to one such place very soon, and I would think it's stupid of me not to look into this affair while I'm there.
I feel time is a factor here, Mason. How far are you going?
Far, in the conventional sense. It'll probably take me a couple of months.
Are you sure now is the best time for this, Mason? We need you here, not just for my own sake, but for your skills, both in sorcery and in leading men and strategizing. We can use your help. I don't know why you think now is the time to be gone, to be rid of us. Have I done something to offend you?
Not in the, well, I'm sorry. Well, yes, you have, but that's not like an issue at all. That's not why. You're not driving me away from here. On the contrary, your friendship is one of the reasons I would value my position here, and that is why I must go. You understand that there are so very many ancient things, dark things, forgotten things, things that would whisper in the night, or maybe withhold that privilege and just strangle you. Such things, dangerous though they may be, and though they should be in the forefront of our minds at all times, have been reduced to folktale and rumor. But there are such places as those places where one might learn about these things, and that is why I must go. I would say that you are very correct that I should be here, but I don't need to be here for the craftsmen to build buildings. I don't need to be here for people to load materials off the docks. I need to be here in my capacity. And so long as no one unnecessarily disturbs the Null Marshes, there should be no need for me to slay any dragons.
Cut to Swan disturbing the Null Marshes.
So I think that's like you see like a look pass over Aurelius's face and
slash and burning the Null Marsh.
Yeah,
I mean, Sam, if you don't have anything else to do here, I would love for a messenger to arrive summoning Mason to a discussion about the Null Marsh.
Just gonna try
Go ahead, you go.
Forgive me.
Where I would like to try to, I don't know, maybe probably persuade Mason, because I'm gonna say, I fear that the timeline will be more accelerated than you think when it comes to the Gnarl Marshes. Mason, I ask you, no, I plead with you. We need you here. I will do everything in my power, use all the resources of the church to bring you what knowledge you need, to bring forth texts and tomes to research from.
I appreciate that.
We need you here.
All right, cool. Make the roll. I like Eric is free as the game master to overlap extra stuff here. If this fails, I think Mason just creeps true to their intent, right? Like it is they counter persuade you that like it is because that I love this place and you and the people here that I have to go and get this shit done and dusted, so that I do not wander aimlessly into this whole affair. But like I'm equipped with the knowledge to, as you say, do the right thing.
If possible, I'm thinking actually this might be more. You guys tell me. I think this might be more ugly truth than persuasion. It's like less like quid pro quo and more like, look, we really need you. But it's up to you guys. I'm willing to throw either.
I feel like it sounds like you're persuading me. Like you're making you're making an appeal to reason in a sense. And
Yeah,
I feel
exactly.
like that's
your intention is to keep him, is to retain him. Right.
Sure.
I want to do something to retain him. How am I doing that? I'm doing that by convincing him and being like, and really getting on the level with him. So it's persuade,
Right.
but you're forking ugly truth.
Awesome. Are you throwing something back at me, or am I just rolling against that massive Ob7 wheel?
I feel like that is just like if you succeed, you persuade me. If not, then like my counter argument stands, right?
Sure.
So Will.
Oh,
Awesome.
that's interesting.
Man, if I should
I was
persuasion so I could actually get a challenging persuasion test.
I like this because if you fail, you just like to escalate it could just be like, sweet, when are we going? And like, let me get a bag ready, and you go with them.
Oh yeah, that's totally.
Like you can just
That's
escalate
totally
it
what I'm
and be like,
doing.
no,
That
you're
is-
leaving. That's fine. I'm gonna come with you.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I'm totally going with that, Eric. I love that.
Priest boy and mage boy on Wild Adventures. Holy shit!
So I'll do persuasion. I'd like to fork ugly truth.
Yeah.
I would like to fork Abadar wise because I'm saying that I'm going to bring forth the power of the church to bring her what she needs. That one's a little iffy though.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I feel like that. I know, but I feel like that failure that they came up with isn't actually a failure condition. That's totally up to your character.
That's just me escalating.
Yeah, that would be you escalating. Your failure is that you're cut off on that option, but that's a respectable avenue for escalating. That changes the situation.
So will you take Abadar wise, Eric?
Correct.
I don't know. No, I don't really see it.
Then the only other fork that I would suggest is suasion, because this is all about preparing against this enemy of civilization. That's the core belief.
Yeah, that I allow for sure. Or apocalypse wise.
Sweet.
I do not have apocalypse wise. I need to open it.
Oh man, that sucks. Yeah.
I need to start making that test. Okay. Other than can I do etiquette?
How do you not? Yeah, dude, you have that instinct. Why haven't you been doing it?
I need to start rolling for that. Can I do etiquette because of the way I address this? I'm like pleading with her.
You are being very. I think your pleading nature is what like lets you use persuasion here, right? Like
Sure.
Etiquette is the appeal to form, where that is not really what's up here.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll just roll. Okay. Ob7, and I fail.
You want to spend fate?
Yeah, why not? Who knows? Maybe I'll re-roll the 6.
1-6.
Shadow run it 5 times. Boom.
Nope.
The opposite. Okay.
I am laying out the plan for the strategic deployment of the troops here. I will not just leave this place, I will leave it well tended. But still, I must go for the safety and security of all. It will be what is best for the future of this fledgling nation. That I am equipped in as good a capacity as I can when we begin.
You're absolutely right, Mason. We must ensure that you are as equipped as possible. When do we leave?
Yeah, Mason sputters. Like, what? What? You need to come with me.
Yeah, Aurelius looks like surprised that you're like confused about this, and he's like, surely having a prophet of Abadar with you will open doors that would have been harder to open, can get you into places of secret knowledge maintained by folks.
Mason looks super touched. And then it's the perfect moment for Swan's messenger to ruin the mood.
Ruin the mood? Go fuck yourself. He arrives bearing a message that you are needed for the War Council.
So a thing I would have liked Mason to do, as I just said, right? Like I'm making preparations for my leaving, including like instructions for how to act when I'm not here. I would like to look at the messenger and be like, okay, I'll be right there, and put the finishing touches on some plans I've been working on for the past couple of days, since I returned back from the Null Marshes and the World Anchor thing in the Elven Grove. I would like to have made a strategic assessment for the rectification of the placement of the fortifications, so that they are better placed than fingers pointed on a map that's incomplete, and being like, I want a castle here, and then the basic plans for the troops patrolling the territory that we are using and expanding into. Right, I don't want them to guard all of the fucking stolen lands. I want to be like, this is a plan for like working slowly in a confined area and having everything under control so that I can leave in good conscience. That is what I would like to do. I would like to call this a strategy role, and I think it's pretty low up.
Yeah, I think it's probably a 3, right?
Let's see.
3 seems... When in doubt, 3 is usually a good bet, but it's worth it.
When in doubt, indeed. Strategy.
I feel like...
Assessing a salient point, up 3. Good call.
I feel like while you're like doing this, like you're like writing these last touches, Aurelius is like, come on, Mason, we need to tell Swan about our trip.
This is gonna be great.
What does failure look like?
Yep, that's a good question. What is the consequence if I fail this test?
Swan's placements were fucking brilliant, and
That's not a good failure.
You look at them and you're like, I can't improve upon this.
That would
randomly used.
You have to cede a point to Swan.
That's not bad.
That is
actually that's a really good failure.
That is really not bad.
I love that. That's great.
So, yeah, that's
Mason
that's
is suddenly
right.
like, I'm throwing 18 persona and a deeds behind this now.
Yes, that is exactly what's gonna happen.
Don't let you actually do something.
This is just both my deed points go into this. One to double the exponent, wants to reroll all trainers. So here's what I would like to. This is the work effort that has gone into this. This is me lobbying for my stuff. So first and foremost and chiefly, cartography. I am forking cartography because I can read the maps we have in a way that is not the inept bumblings of no one who doesn't have cartography.
Yeah.
And because I'm drawing up plans, so that's one thing. I'm throwing in city-wise because this relates to the construction of this dumb city, and I want everything guarded. I want this place to be. I want to guard the entranceways and everything related to the expansion of this dumb place. I am throwing in history because I'm not just going off my lolly-dolly ass. I am using like historical accounts and facts that have gone before me to do this. I'm basically working off of other people's great work. I am throwing in logistics for obvious reasons, right? When I'm planning out these routes. I am throwing in soldier-wise because it relates to mobilizing the soldiery. I'm throwing in strategy games because I'm doing strategy and I'm like, you mean like literally moving like pawns and pieces on the map. Okay.
Yo, dude, Catan. Just because you play Settlers of Catan doesn't make you a good colonizer. Nope.
That's fine.
Just to give some pushback on city-wise, my understanding that you were like planning this based on the area we're in. So like the greenbelt, our land, and less around like Kurasuno itself.
Good point. If in that case, then I will argue that if I retract city-wise, I should be able to apply strategy games because it's about piece placement on the board of this area.
No.
How do you rule, Eric? Okay.
No.
Tactics.
Tactics relates specifically to combat.
And it specifically relates to small units of people.
Yes. Which this also
command.
does. And lastly, but not least...
I would allow command, not tactics here.
All right. Then I will put in command too.
Because command is this. Is what you're thinking of.
And I am going to throw in my final piece here. I'm going to throw in write. Because I can write, and I'm drawing up a plan, and I'm not just doing this by head. I'm actually like writing down my points.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you're drawing up a plan, right, is pretty much an assumed thing, right?
Yeah, but that is not the argument, right? The argument is that I'm doing this because I can take notes, right? I'm not formulating a plan from conception to finished product in the span of one single thought. I'm writing down notes.
Coming up with a plan
do you have
involves you writing.
I feel like
no.
What about astrology?
You can I'm also going to talk in astrology. That's a good point. But coming up with a plan does not necessitate the capacity to write.
I would argue
illiterate people can plan.
No, I mean, I would argue that you could not do this plan without being able to write.
Yeah.
Because you are not delivering a plan in person to Count Swan. You are writing a plan out. The writing is what allows you to do it. It's not a field-related knowledge.
And we're not talking about one castle, right? We're talking about a giant area.
Several, yeah.
Yep. All right, and then astrology then. So I am up to 8.
Yeah.
Forking 8.
This is where your astrology die opens and ends.
Yes.
It's like a fuck ton.
This is where I will be horrifyingly betrayed.
It isn't just that Swan was right, but that the House of Venus determined that he was super right.
I am folkloring. The only reason I'm folkloring this hard is because the failure consequence is ceding a point to Swan. That is Mason's investment in this. Just being like, wait a minute. If this is wrong, yeah, exactly. No, under no circumstances.
You need that 2 for 9 right there. Just 2 successes on 9 dice.
Yep.
That's all I'm asking for.
There it is. And it's a shit roll, but it's damn it if I didn't make it.
So many ones, buddy.
Wow.
Wow. If that second to last one and the last 3 were switched, you would be so screwed.
Yep.
Even with all of those forks, you could just barely prove me wrong. Clearly my choices weren't that bad.
I'm not barely proving you wrong. I am proving you de factorially wrong.
This is like that. This has to be like a GIF of like a car and a wreck going across the finish line, where it's just like half a car on fire. just making it.
Fucking the king being pushed across the finish line by the lightning, right? I will.
Perfect.
Exactly. All right, so I've put the finishing touches on that. I've rolled the whole damn thing up. I'm like, okay, this is a great plan for like generally how to approach this whole situation, and I bring it with me as Aurelius and I go to talk to Swan.
Yeah, so let's go talk to Swan.
Sup, dude?
So I'm there with all of the leaders of the mercenary companies looking at your casualness, and I'm just like, yes, what is up, Mason?
Your radiance.
Indeed.
You didn't call for me, but I was with Mason. I assumed I should come as well. I can leave if you wish.
Eric, I talked to you earlier about that gift. Can I just have that gift, or do I need to roll something for it?
No, I think I'm willing to give it to you because I feel like that's pretty good.
I also want to get some cash die for rewards as well. I mean, I'm about to bestow.
Where?
From my resources score, of course.
From out my ass. I am Ronald Swan.
Where is this money coming from?
That's a great question.
The bank.
We are far away from your resources.
Actually, I set all that up earlier. Remember Oleg's?
Yeah.
Oleg's is a base of my resources.
Yeah, well, Oleg's is far away.
I also set
Oleg's is still pretty far away.
I set up river trade, motherfuckers. And supply caravans and all of that. Access to my funds should not be difficult. We're literally living on them.
I mean, I have just spent a couple of days.
But it's from your funds. It's from your... Okay, fine. It's from your funds. Okay. Proceed.
Of course. So I would like to magic up 3 cash die.
So ob 6.
Ob 6. I'm gonna use my 5D fund. And I get affinity for business, so that's 6 helping dice.
It's green.
There it is.
Looks good to me. Yeah. So, I will now have 2 cash die for. Well, you know what? Here's what happens, Mason. You come in, and Swan gestures for you to step outside the tent with him. Ladies, gentlemen, we'll be back in a moment.
So as you do so, I go to the table, right, like where people are seated around. I put the rolled up piece of parchment that I have. I put it on the table, and I look to all of all the captains who I know very well. I look to the commanders who I'm drinking with nightly, and just sharing stories. And I'm like, you have a look at that while I'm speaking to my lord.
Also, while they leave, Aurelius's eyes light up, and he's like, "Excellent, a time to start proselytizing," and just starts just talking to the room about scripture and how you should do X, Y, and Z because I have
Cool. So, what can I do for you, Ronald?
I have something for you, Mason.
I am immediately suspicious, but yeah.
Sorcerers are not my friend, and I think we all know that. But you have on occasion been slightly more than just an employee or an ally, and I wanted to give you rewards fitting your station. I found a beast in a passing caravan of rare animals that I thought matched your personality quite well. His name is Mr. Mouser. He's a rare Numerian cat breed. They specifically hunt mice and rats. They're rather fantastic, very hard to get a hold of. And I hold it up, and it's just hissing and clawing. Mr. Mouser here is to be your new familiar pet. I feel like you could do with some companionship. You seem lonely at times, and well, when you're around, sometimes there's rats and mice, and Mr. Mouser can help you with that. And he's just hissing and screaming as Swan is holding him out towards you. Please, take him.
Oh, delightful. Okay, give.
Highly desired by the nobility.
All right. Just give me a second here. Okay, so first of all, Eric, what the fuck is this?
This is like
a major rat problem in the city.
This is like a spotted lynx.
All right.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like a huge ass fucking bobcat.
Fine. Shit, I know.
Yeah, man.
You wanted rewards befitting your station.
What the? So okay, so like
it's like an ocelot, only Mason, with more neck fur, like a bobcat. Right?
Mason makes that face where they're like, you just said so many dumb things, and I'm like, I have so many questions, but you know what? You're holding out a bobcat, and that takes priority right now, right? That face. And I don't really want this fucking thing to claw me, so I'm gonna convince it to chill the fuck out before I take it from Swan. So I'm gonna tell it to chill the fuck out.
How are you doing that?
By speaking to it and telling it to chill the fuck out. I'm going to use low speech to talk to this fucking thing and be like, no, that thing you're doing, you need to cut it out right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I will to be less casual about it. What my actual intent is to calm the wild beast, and so that when I pick it up, Swan's holding this ball of hate. It's just rah!
Yeah. Remember, you've done this.
I take it, just I
about to say you did this to an owlbear. I mean, what's a spotted lynx?
Exactly. So that's what I intend to do.
Okay.
I am going to the op for this is, let's see, dogs, pigs, dolphins, horses, oxen, wild beasts. There, op 4. Okay.
Yeah. Survey says
I will throw in my standard sorcery forks, not having any of the written ones there because it doesn't apply. And I
Are you
will
about to
take.
cast magic in front of me?
Oh yeah.
All right. I want to be clear. I have an instinct that says always draw a steady sword at sorcery. So as soon as you convince this cat, I'm gonna drop the cat and draw my sword.
Sure.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit.
I'm not afraid of the cat. We've been hanging out for a week. Me and him are chill. It's you that's the problem.
Me and him are chill.
I mean, I'm holding him. He's not trying to attack me, just you.
All right, so let's see.
I think it really likes you, Swan. I think the cat really likes you.
It does.
All right. So that is 5 for Forks, and then I will take I will cast carefully so as to not kill us all.
Hold on. I just want to point out that you casting carefully here would literally look like Swan holding the cat and he's just like standing there muttering for like minutes at a time. And
no, it's
like, what? Just muttering.
It's just
if
just
you're
for, like,
taking your time, if you're
syllables.
taking his time, then like Swan, does your instinct would trigger while he's
Yes.
casting.
Like immediately, as soon as I realize it's happening.
If you want to do that,
I would let the cat
instincts
go.
are your player controlled. So
Yes.
All right.
do you do that then?
Yes. I immediately let go of the cat and draw my sword. Like, what's happening?
Holy shit! Look at that roll.
Okay.
It's the reverse of your last.
Yeah. Well, hold on. I'm not sure if your roll for sorcery, what happens when you drop the cat, right? Is the cat on a leash?
Yeah, it's a house cat. Oh no, wait, we use it to mouse with, so probably not.
Well, it's like you just drew its sword, and does that change the circumstances for the sorcery test as well as the cat?
So here's the thing.
I mean, the cat.
Part of me thinks
probably
if you freak out and drop the cat and draw your sword, the cat's gonna like run, right? Like a cat would.
I want to like figure out how long this period of time is because you added 4 extra dice for casting carefully.
Yeah.
That's like a good deal longer. And that spell already takes like a fair amount of time to cast.
It takes 12 actions. So when I do this, it takes 12 times 8 actions.
Right.
So
that's
that's
like a
like-
solid minute and a
That
half.
cat is either attacking you or it's gone before the spell is done.
That's what I'm saying. I think the
Yeah.
cat runs away before like you're done casting.
All right,
Like
so
it's like it doesn't run away out of the castle. It just like it just goes off like a cat does.
yeah,
Right.
So I then in that case I stop. When I still succeed at the casting. So what I do is I finish the incantation, and then I do what's called the coup de magie, which is I hold the spell instead of casting it. So I will just keep it held, and then I will go find the cat and then finish the casting.
Okay.
The roll is already successfully completed.
Yeah. All right. Let's go find the spooked out cat.
Tax.
No, Swan
No.
needs you here right now.
Yeah,
Tax.
let's fucking acknowledge
Yeah,
that
roll
it's
to
not
tax.
it's not cast yet. I will tax for it after I finish the casting. But I want to acknowledge you drawing a sword on me, and I want to acknowledge me not slaying you outright when you do that.
Swan doesn't count as a wild creature for purposes of your spell.
No, he doesn't.
Okay. Let's try to be clear.
Yeah, it's fine. Like I would love to speak his language, but even low speech can't do that shit. So.
Okay.
So yeah, I stop the incantation, right? Like I finish the multi-voiced whisper, and I just look at your drawn blade for a moment as if seeing it for the first time. I look at you, I'm like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? You think you can just start casting spells anytime? You don't need to cast a spell to make a cat your friend. You just need to give it food and pet it. You think me a simpleton, Mason, but I managed to make that cat a friend within a day.
Take that sword away before I make you.
Oh, I mean, that's like Swan's trigger button right there. Swan's just like, make me. You're going to make me put my sword away. I think he'll loom somewhat threateningly.
Yeah, Mason
you
is,
don't
is
give
giving
me
you
orders, Mason. You work for me, General.
I'm not
And you've
gonna repeat
upset my
myself.
new friend, Mr.
I'm not
Mouser.
repeating myself.
I'm not repeating myself either. I came here to grant you boons and rewards, and here I am with nothing but insults and sorcery.
You came here to grant me boons, and here you stand with a sword pointed at me.
So I feel like we're not using these rules right because based on the coup de magie stuff, it does not seem like you can just have a conversation. Like you got to test your will You have to. Like,
yeah, I have to test my will once, like a couple of hours.
But also, like, he drew the sword before you were done casting, and there's a rule for interrupted spells. Like,
yeah, and the
so
rule for that is not interruption. And it would be interrupting if he cut me so deeply that it cut me. It subtracted a will die, a wound die.
Sure,
that is an interruption.
Oh, okay.
No, because that means that what happened is he drew the sword, dropped the cat. You still maintained casting the spell for the last minute and a half, and then this conversation's happening.
No, I think
that doesn't make any sense to me.
No, you're right. You're right. Thinking about the fictional events there, it seems like when you draw your sword at the sign of a spell should be the point where you could lose concentration or something from casting the spell.
That is so. Let me read something to you just for fun here.
Sure, because I'm also not the subject matter expert for the spells for Burning Wheel.
I mean, neither am I.
I'm the consequence to failures expert.
It doesn't make sense to me right now. That's why I'm like bringing this up.
It's okay. There's nothing wrong with bringing it up.
I mean, we can just make a hard, fast rule here and say, like, you still have the coup de magie going on.
Here's a little piece of like sorcerer trivia for you. From sustain spells, a sorcerer is rigorously trained in the art of concentration. He is able to slip into trance-like meditation almost instantly, and then, while maintaining the trance, come forward in his mind and interact normally with his surroundings. By dividing his attention into separate compartments, a sorcerer can sustain one or more spells at a time. I am trained by default as a gifted sorcerer. I am so good at concentrating, I can compartmentalize my mind, such as that I can maintain a spell while doing a Sudoku puzzle. And dancing and writing a ballad.
You're not wrong, but what I'm going off of is two things. Once, it's to sustain a spell once it's cast, so it already has to have been cast. Yes. And I'm going off 511, which is the spell interrupt, which is spells must be completed uninterrupted. If a sorcerer is distracted while performing an incantation, the spell is ruined and attacks is required. The obstacle, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just thinking, like, either this means that Swan was standing, pointing a sword at you, and you were just standing there muttering until
for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, because I don't feel threatened. Right? A spell is interrupted if a wizard.
You, or like he just waited with his sword out until you finished, and then this conversation happened. That's
basically. Yeah, well, So if that's what it boils down to, this is basically Mason. This is basically Mason choosing to finish their casting because the cat ran off, and because they do. Yeah,
I was thinking more it'd be the discretion of AP with the instinct of leaving it to be in. What does AP do when he continues to cast the spell?
Yeah, that's fine, right? If AP wants to,
standing there with the sword out, and you're just keep going. So that's.
I mean, it doesn't say stab sorcerers to death. I'm going to keep the sword out just in case any weird shit happens.
Okay, cool.
So it feels like
so then it completes. Okay,
we wound up where we're at.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, if I see a fireball coming at me, I'm going to try to make some speed rolls, act first, and stab Mason to death.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet. What I'm saying is that instinct would have allowed you to be like I would have allowed you to like push Mason to like stop casting the spell kind of thing,
that's
right?
exactly what it's there for.
Exactly. It gives you some of that positioning to especially if someone's taking their time casting. Which may not be true if they weren't taking their time, just to be clear in future instances. But because he was taking your time, you draw your sword, you're like, whoa, what the fuck? You better stop right now kind of thing. I would allow you to trigger because of the instinct that you have. But you're just being cautious and it happens and it triggers. It's fine. Yeah. So then let's just fast forward again back to right where we're in the future. So the coup de magie triggers, the cat runs away, and now you're just standing there.
Yeah. So that's like we go back into the conversation.
Good talk. Yeah, let's go.
All right. So yeah, I'm not doing anything, right? Like you have your sword out, and I'm waiting for you to put it away.
Yep. Swan doesn't put it away, and is waiting for you to back down.
This sounds like a post will.
Or, I mean, depends if Swan is using one of his many social skills.
I mean, it sounds like intimidate to me.
Yeah, I would say that's
that seems good.
Yeah, it's intimidate versus your will.
Yeah, intimidate. Try to intimidate me to back down. If you fail, then I will take the victory in this.
I think if I fail, I'll put the sword away.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Ob 7.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice challenging.
Nailed it.
Yeah. So I.
So what do you get when you win?
So is that a challenging will test?
Challenging will.
Yeah, it's a challenging will.
Fantastic.
It's not even intimidate.
Swan.
Because it's so high.
Slams his sword. I mean, that was why I want to make it an intimidate test.
That's what this is, right? Like you try to
challenging will.
Yeah.
You try to loom over Mason, and it just completely backfires on you, right? Like it's like, no, you can't loom over me.
I feel like we
loom back.
wait there for long enough that Swan just slams his sword home at some point.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, like the fictional circumstances here of your failure is that you try butting wills with the Titan and you get crushed.
Listen, you don't want to talk Titans here. We'll start pulling out some duel of wits here. See just who is the Titan.
Yeah, but we just did, so there it is.
Do me and the other trained military individuals in the room hear a sword being drawn and then sheathed?
You may probably hear the conversation rather than the drawing of the sword, like something along the lines of, "Why are you drawing your sword on me? Put it away!"
Yeah, sure.
That probably happened.
I will come outside when I hear that swords are being drawn, because I'd prefer you guys not try to stab each other.
So you see
Oh
Swan.
shit! Here we go again.
You see Swan slamming his sword hilt back into his back sheath.
Your Radiance, Mason. What is the meaning of this?
Mason decided to upset a cat and start casting sorcery in front of me with no warning.
Yes.
Or explanation.
I feel like when you're leaving, there's like this cat, that like huge bobcat that slinks in the door. You're like, what the?
Mr. Mouser, come back here.
But so if the cat just like I want to, this is like, I'm not going to interrupt you here, Sam. I just want to add something that like happens. If the cat slinks by, Mason uses that opportunity to finish the coup de magie, and like basically bring the cat under control, right? Like that. I can't clarify my intent. I want to accomplish that if the cat runs by. I'm like finish the last syllable and bring the fucking thing up and under control.
So now you have to tax?
Yes.
No. I'm going to disagree with you on there. I think we're going to have Sulius show up first, and then, or if you really want to do that right now, then it's actually going to be a perception.
I didn't want to do it before that. When you described the cat as like walking by, I decided to write like
rushed by. No, it's like rushed by. Like it's
not important at all.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So
let's keep going.
Yeah, Aurelius will be like, your Radiance, she is a sorcerer. That means that they do magic.
Sometimes they should occasionally warn the people around them when they're going to use dark magic.
Surely Mason did not mean to startle you, your Radiance. Mason,
she startled a cat. She was very untoward toward Mr. Mouser. He was just trying to say hello.
I have no idea what this cat is. Mason, I would ask in the future you refrain from casting without warning your Radiance. Your Radiance, in the future, I would ask that you refrain from drawing swords on, honestly, someone that could burn you alive in just a moment, because I would really prefer not to see you die. And I don't know if there's anything against this. I don't know if I'm
sorry, Aurelius.
That sounds like ugly truth if Swan doesn't agree.
Yeah, you're speaking truth to power.
Swan doesn't
here.
agree because he uses his instinct here again. He says, I'm sorry, Aurelius, but it happened almost as if by instinct. My hand was guided by Abadar.
You should curb your instinct. If I feel threatened like that, I may just decide to kill you and everyone else on impulse.
Really?
And I wouldn't
That's kind of how
that.
I felt, Mason, when you began casting magic without any warning at all.
Right, like I lean into Aurelius's argument, right? I'm like, yeah, this could have been super dangerous for you. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't want that. So please don't do that.
It could have been super dangerous for you, Mason.
You could never hurt me. I love you too damn much for you to ever hurt me.
Mason
Swan immediately contemplates 4 ways to hurt Mason right here in this room.
Aurelius is just like
all right.
He's so pissed off at both of you guys for being such immature brats right now.
What are we doing here?
Well, I was going to give you some boons and rewards.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Yes, well, why don't you go find Mr. Mouser, and when you're done, you can join the in-progress strategy meeting, Swan says.
Now, who is Mr. Mouser? Have we
Mr. Mouser is this fantastic cat that I found at a rare pet bargain bin. It's a rat-catching cat. I think maybe we're going into the tent and our voices are trailing off. I just want to give Daniel a chance to maybe go find a cat and possibly fall over unconscious from sorcery attacks.
Now, I'm gonna do that, right, if that's a thing, but I'm not gonna devote like half an iota of attention to catching this dumb thing if I have to. So if I can just like lean on that finished sorcery test and be like, yeah, I get the cat and join the meeting, then we'll do that. But if we're gonna make it a thing, I'm not gonna bother.
So I guess that's the question, Eric. Does he have to hunt the cat down?
Oh yeah, right now for sure.
Yeah, then no, the cat can get fucked. I join you in the tent.
I really want Eric, this cat, to just start stalking. What do I need to do? Like, not right now, but at some point, I want to direct the cat to just stalk Mason everywhere they go. Until they become friends.
I feel like it's just a consequence of this cat just...
excellent. You know, fantastic.
it's just here.
We'll continue to follow you forever until you go find it.
It's just in the capital now, just doing something.
All of your rat friends are just dying constantly. You can never figure out why. Gentlemen, ladies, the time has come to begin cleansing the gnarl marshes. Now that we've begun bringing in troops, supplies, colonists, we need to secure the local area. We can rely on the Goramites to some extent, but if we don't do it ourselves, it won't be done right.
Cleansing the gnarl marshes is a bad idea. You shouldn't do it.
Fantastic. Except the safety of the country and everyone who lives here relies on it.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Exactly. I'm glad you agree.
Count Swan, Your Radiance.
Yes.
I would suggest caution in this. The enemy within the gnarl marshes, I'm preparing. Surely we will deal with her when the time comes, but I could use a few months to make sure that we're doing it the right way. These sort of beings, as I'm sure you remember, these sort of supernatural creatures are not easily dealt with.
So what do you have me do then? Do I wait for the first child to get snatched into the woods, or do I send men who I have paid to do this bravely into the woods to find them first?
Those men will all die.
The children will not die, and the men are trained.
You could not pay these men enough to risk their lives against that which they cannot fathom. These
men gesture to Rolf and say, I have paid such men. Rolf is an expert at these matters. I've been assured by both you and Iravetti.
I look to Rolf. Rolf is an absolute expert at leading his men into battle. Rolf, if you will excuse my words, you are not an expert on dealing with the primordial evil of forgotten places. Right, I'm not like trying to short sell him here. I'm being like, let's be real. I don't want to let Swan send you out to fight a Hydra. Right, like I'm trying to give him a leg up here.
The being that is in these woods, the being that shattered my miracle, forgive me, Demetrius's miracle, is not one that you can kill with swords, any more than you would have been able to kill the demon that lurked within the queen with a sword. Please, Your Radiance, I beg you, see reason. Allow your servants, allow the people who can best deal with this to deal with it. Every tool in its place is in the second line of the first book of Abadar's scripture. Allow us to prepare the tools so that we can do the job.
Does not Abadar's scripture say that those who are civilized must go out and be civilized? That we should scout the wild places and bring them to the light. We cannot sit here and wait for you to be ready.
Your Radiance...
You've had months to be ready, both of you. And now we are here, and you tell me you need more time. We don't have time. People are coming, and they will die. Perhaps this ancient evil you speak of, we cannot face it now. But does the ancient evil lurk at the edge of the forest? I think not. what does lurk at the edge of the forest is something that leaves the bodies of men behind. Is it
Your
bandits?
radiance.
Is it some elf? I don't know, but we need information.
Your Radiance, I am trying to obtain this information. My faith is a living and unshakable confidence, and so should be yours, a belief in the grace of God so assured that a man would die 1,000 deaths for its sake.
I do believe in the grace of God, and I believe that civilization marches with our army. They will go, and they will see what they can find at the edge of the woods.
If you commit your troops to cleansing the null marshes of a taint that is not there, I'm just like, and I'm just like chiming in to like help your argument here, Demetrius, Aurelius. If you send men into the null marshes, you will be wasting corpses. Do as your wise counsel advises, because you are not equipped to make this decision.
I'd like to throw some dice if possible as well.
Yeah, this is like we've talked about it. We've talked about this, right? Like this. This is fun. So let's throw some bones.
I think I'm making
make it so.
However, there is a thing here, and that thing is that for me, at least for Mason, this conflict is not black and white. Right? There is no realm in which they accept this. As it is. So therefore, this is either a walk away duel of wits or a I am staying duel of wits because you offer me something.
I mean, I'm wondering if it's two separate tests, because I don't know that, like, Mason's intent seems completely different from Aurelius's.
Yeah, I think so. Right? Like Mason wants to help your argument, but they're not like they're not hearing anything that would like draw them down this course of action. Like this is not sufficient to make a test against Mason, is what I'm saying.
Right, but what I'm saying is, like, I don't think that there's a test to be had for Mason then, because there's nothing that Mason can do from stopping Swan just sending the troops into the forest, right?
I think you're right.
But I'm trying to convince Swan that God wants him to.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
But he already believes that, doesn't he?
No, yes. I'm trying to convince him that God wants him to wait. Every time in its place.
Okay.
He needs to have unshakable confidence in his faith the way I do.
And I think that's fair, right? I can't have it both ways, so I will pull back from the argument and not offer you helping dice because I don't want to be bound by the failure result, because Mason is like cannot be convinced of this from what we're hearing.
Okay.
All right. So are you trying to convince me of anything, or am I just wrong?
I'm trying to convince you that we need to do this now, that like you failed at your job. You were supposed to be ready. Now we're here. You're not ready. And that this needs to be done to save the people.
It's good.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Is that something you can be convinced of?
I mean, I think you can convince me that, man. Yeah, I mean, I think you can convince him that. No, actually, no, I'm sorry. I have an instinct that says you can't. I believe it. It is divine mandate. You must listen to me.
This is a good point then to bring up. Like how are we doing this, right? Because if what you are saying,
I mean, it sounds like we're not doing it. The three of us are all, well, I haven't said it, but the two of you are both saying I can't be moved on this point. Basically what this is like, this would be the eternal escalation until we reach the point where we're like, all right, let's do this as a duel of fates. No, we're not doing John Williams music. A duel of wits, upon which time we could elect to walk out.
So let me take a step back. Here's what I think it is. I have no ability to tell your soldiers not to go into the woods. Whether or not you are successful at persuading me that I'm wrong, it doesn't matter. You can tell the soldiers to go into the woods. So it seems like I'm trying to persuade you. But I mean, if you're trying to persuade me of something else, like, that's fine. But you don't need to persuade me that the troops should go in the woods, right? Like, just send them into the woods.
Yeah, I don't know how to rule that. I think it seems like it's both are triggering independently from one another.
The question is whether I can convince you to wait.
I don't think so. I mean, if we're all stepping away from this, Swan is going to double down and just be like, this is the time, right here, right now. I have a belief on the line about it.
Then that makes me think that actually then... And you are imploring Count Swan to stop, Sulius?
Yes. No, I'm imploring him to wait. I'm imploring him to give me time to figure out.
Yeah, give him time. Yeah. So that's actually that's not actually a duel of wits. That's just Count Swan's doing this thing and you're going to try to persuade him not to. But then what's the consequence of failure? Right? Because you're going to try to persuade him that like you need to wait. But I don't know what the consequence of failure looks like for that.
I mean, I have an idea. I don't know if AP is going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
You dismiss me. Fine, if you don't agree, go.
Ugh. I mean, that's a really rough sell, especially if you're my brother.
I meant from not from the court, but it's like I am not interested in your words on this, Aurelius. I've made my decision. You follow me.
I mean, relieving you of responsibility for future military matters might be a thing.
Yeah, you're not a man of the military. Keep yourself out of military matters. That seems like a pretty good one.
All right. Well, make your roll about
you don't write
belief.
My foreign policy. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but if I can't convince you, I can't convince you, right? Like, if you will not wait on this belief, then you won't.
I mean, I won't wait.
Then
no, I mean, that's part yeah, okay.
Because, like, I can't, right? It's not fair for me to, like, just roll against you to change your belief.
It'd be more like you're persuading him to see it your way to wait. So, I mean, that's...
I mean, I'm willing to see this either way. I don't want to try to take agency from AP's character, like AP when it comes to his character.
I feel like we keep going around in a circle. No one's character seems to be budging on their points here.
So either we can...
Which is why you have to make a test to push people there.
In the end, if they don't agree, it's still my army. I can send them without these people's help, right?
That's a good point. Then maybe what we're doing
I just
here,
ignore them and order the commanders to do it anyway.
Yeah, then what we're actually doing here is what is at stake in this social confrontation?
Whether or not Swan is willing to wait.
All right, so it's whether we do not go out and start like doing stuff in the null marshes just yet. Okay. So in that case, if that's what's up, then
if Swan has to do this without your approval, he's going to do it.
Yeah, that's that. I think I will engage you on that. Right, like that is a topic in which I will engage you because that is not a thing that Mason like feels the need to stand back from. So Mason will like basically contest you on this, right, and be like, you mustn't do this for the reasons that we already talked about in the conversation. What are we rolling against each other? Because you want to what do you want here, and what?
I want to convince you that it's time for you to start leading this army right here and now in the way that I've directed. This is important. It might be the most important thing we have to do to defend this colony.
I think it's fair to say that there's a rule. If you win, like Aurelius and Mason agree to lead your army and do the damn thing now, and then if we win, we get our month or two to figure out what's actually going on. That seems like the way I would do it, but it's completely up to you guys.
We could, God, I don't know. I don't know about this.
I want to throw dice against Swan. I want to see Swan's persuasion versus my suasion. The titans of social conflict.
I think that's really good. The reason I have a problem here is because, like, sending troops in Mason's point of view is going to accomplish nothing and destroy the nation. So I don't feel like there is any, like, do you guys feel like there is a basis for me to acquiesce to this point?
I mean, if Swan persuades you that either you lead the army,
but what in the world is?
No, hold on.
Go on.
Let me finish. Here is the difference: is either you are in Mason's mind. If she walks away from this, she's consigning the entire army to death.
Yes.
If you are with the army, there's a small chance they might survive.
I think then that is what that is, right? Like so Mason's act in this is going to be to like look across the table. I'm going to use my like walk out here of the duel of wits, so to speak, that I'm being invited into, and I'm gonna say, you send people into the Null Marshes, they will die. There are things hidden in the dark corners of the world that no sword can bite, that no spear can stab, and that no arrow may strike. You do this, you will invite death and destruction upon your army and then your people. If you want to protect that child walking out there from whatever might emerge from the forest, you would do well to instruct the army to hold the line and not disturb the forest, for you do not know what sleeps below the grass. And that is my this is what I believe. I'm not willing to have this conversation. It is on you, right? I shift the responsibility. I'm being like, you do what you want with your army, I won't have any part in it, and then I walk out. And now you may have your test, Sam.
I mean, is there a point to the test if you're not here?
I'll let you convince me. If you want to roll persuasion against me, I will.
If you want to roll suasion back at me,
cool. Let's do it.
The versus test to end all versus tests.
Now either we wait or we don't. Cool. Do you want to make your pool of dice first?
There you go ahead. I'm gonna think for a while.
Cool. So I start with B7 suasion. I would like to fork in oratory because I'm making a speech to a room of generals. His ability to lead his army hinges on his ability to command his men. And if the entire room is persuaded that I'm correct, it's going to make that a lot harder. I would like to fork in doctrine because I quoted religious doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to fork in religious history for the same reason. I would like to fork in Abadar-wise because the entire concept is that Abadar speaks through me. I would like to fork in ugly truth because it's absolutely the case that there's no one in his army that can even damage this being. Persuasion is automatic persuasion. And I think that's it. So I'm adding 6 dice.
I would argue that you can lobby for positional advantage from the authority on the topic, which is Mason, who is also the general. Who is also the general of the army.
You walk away. You walk away from it.
That's
no
help.
Dice.
No, that's decidedly not help here.
It's
and
in the rule book.
Yeah, it is. It does exactly what it is. So I'm putting this on Eric, right? Like, I'm not helping, definitely not. But this is what I'm arguing here. There is a not unfounded case for Sam having an advantage die for the situation. If you're like, let's go into the dark forest, and the wizard in the room is like, this is a shit idea, you are all going to die, and I wash my hands of this right now.
How about this?
Then that might be a advantage, but it might not be.
I think you ceded your authority when you left the room.
I agree.
What I will say is the prophet is telling you that there is a dark thing in the forest that you cannot kill. The Scion of God is saying, this thing is not something you can kill. This is something that we need to deal with. I do miracles, trust me. I would argue that that is advantage.
All right. Here's my forks.
All right, cool.
Etiquette. Administration.
Wait, how etiquette?
Yeah, and how administration?
Administration is literally the administration of this colony.
But you're
a vital
marshaling troops. You're marshaling troops, not.
I mean, can I fork logistics on it then?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I fork command?
Yes, those two make sense for marshaling troops around.
You are commanding me for sure.
I don't see
etiquette,
why I wouldn't be able to fork etiquette, but all right, I'll skip past that. Noble wise.
Those are the formalities of court, and that's not what we're doing here.
I'm not a noble.
No, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with me, actually.
Oh, okay.
It has to do with my noblesse oblige, my responsibility to the people, and that I believe that this is the important part moving forward.
I don't see how Noble Wise has any bearing on this conversation, I must say.
I think I'd give it to him, honestly. It's his duty as a noble to protect his people. That was his entire basis of his argument.
That's why he has a belief for it. That is not a forking matter, but I'm okay with it, right? I'm just chiming in.
I think he gets it.
And I want to fork oratory as well. And I would like to offer... I mean, he just forked oratory. Come on.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
I would like to argue that I have a positional advantage because they're talking so much about how this can't be done, but I have a guy standing in the room, standing in the back, nodding like, it can be done. You paid for our services to do exactly this.
Who is that?
Rolf.
They can't do it, and they know that.
I mean, they've told me that they can.
No, that is not the case at all.
No, that was what he...
EricVulgaris specifically said that he was capable of doing it. You were in the room where it happened.
Capable of doing...
Up on this.
Capable of leading the men in her absence, not capable of hurting the supernatural.
Specific question was, can this man train them to fight the supernatural?
Let's back up, because the original intent when he hired EricVulgaris was to help kill Nerissa. That was a huge part of the original intent of hiring EricVulgaris.
When I talked to her about Rolf, I specifically asked about continuing to train troops against things in the novel.
The answer to the question is that Rolf believes he can.
Perfect.
Cool.
Untested.
That's fine with me. I mean, I can only rely on what the people want, and this is a social test, not a knowledge test. So I'll take 5 modifying dice.
Cool, and I'm gonna...
This is so cool.
Persona.
This is so fucking cool.
Okay, 8.
I'm gonna fate for sure. Doesn't matter what he rolls. That's 10 successes.
Oof, this is gonna be tough. All right.
This is a man desperately trying to get his suasion tested.
So I have 8 successes against 10.
Yep.
Any call-ons? Anything you can do?
I'm just trying to decide if I want to...
He pulls a medical diagnosis out for a call-on.
I might actually... do I want to spend this deed point? Is it that important? I don't think it is. I think I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
So I rolled... no, it's nothing. It's not a good test for me. Oh, well.
Close.
Sweet. That is so cool.
So you're trying to...
Yeah. So like, what does it look like when you just shut me down?
I begin giving orders. I'm like, it seems that Mason has walked away from their employment as general. You now answer directly to me. And like Swan just ignores you being in the room, right? He just continues to give orders, assuming that he has convinced you.
All right. I want to escalate this with a miracle. I'm going to make my voice boom loudly throughout the room, essentially deafening everybody in the room. And basically what I want to do is essentially speak with the voice of God. And command. Basically, I'm going to just be like, say like silence, and my voice booms, and then I will prove to Count Swan that this is divine mandate.
Is it? I mean, you failed to do that so far, right? Aren't you bound by the failure that you literally have failed to prove that so far?
He is bound by the clause in the game called "Let It Ride," which means that he cannot approach this venue again without significantly changing the situation.
And I feel like
which the voice of God might be.
Yes, exactly. Okay. That's what escalating is. Yeah.
What's failure look like?
On the faith roll, Eric is not obliged to tell us before the roll has been made, but it could be anything.
I would like to know, but sure.
Cool.
It could be nothing, or it could be he loses his power, or it could be a meteor lands on us.
Let's just see our classic miracle rolls by...
A miracle lands on Aurelius. just hits him out of nowhere.
Burning rocks fall and we all die.
No, just him. Literally just smites him.
So yeah, I'll describe what this miracle looks like if I succeed. And I am going to use the staff of
Losing your voice on this failure has definitely crossed my mind.
That's what I was thinking. I will use the staff of the Prophet Jezreel to give myself a +1.
The other consequence to failure I was thinking of would be you have to lead them. You feel compelled to lead them.
I like that. No, oh my God. If I fail, can the voice of God, like essentially I try to speak with the voice of God and words that I did not think would come out of my mouth. And instead of saying like silence, I will have my way, it's I will lead them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. I love that.
It's going to be only the strong walls shelter humanity.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
okay.
Of course that's what's going to be.
Great. All right. I don't want to spend my last persona because I may soon be leading people into the woods to die.
So what are we rolling here? Is this an 8 miracle or what are we?
This is a 5 minor miracle.
Okay. I don't know. Speaking with is that described in the Ob 5 miracle part as speaking the word of God?
I mean, there's a bunch of this.
I'm not calling down a pillar of fire. I'm not making it. I'm not.
I mean, you're calling down a revelation from your God, right?
That's what I'm. Yeah.
Inspiration. Ob 7.
No, it sounds like Ob 4.
Dude, what page is this?
Can
someone give me the page, please?
Revelation or knowledge?
I don't want.
Can someone give me the page, my dudes?
524.
525.
I definitely don't want knowledge. Like, I'm not seeking.
I mean, you're literally asking God to come down and be like, "This is what I want."
No, just speaking with the voice of God, which a faith bonus to your speaking dice would represent, such as through aid.
I don't think
this could be considered guidance as well. One of the ways lost priest knows the right path.
Yeah, that's okay.
Actually, it's Ob 5.
Right.
Solid, good call.
I want you to fail.
Like this is literally guidance.
I hope you get right.
Ob 5 then.
So what is
it's Ob 5?
What do you get if you succeed on this?
Basically, Aurelius is going to say, "Silence. You will do as I say," and his voice will boom out with the power of God.
And that will give you a chance to roll the test again, or what is?
That makes it sound like an intimidate check.
No, basically what I want to do is I want to make it so that Swan can't like command his troops into the forest. The troops won't.
I mean, that sounds way different than just
that
talking.
That is different. That is if you want to like I demand a chance to redress this issue with the voice of God himself. Then you could make the roll and you might be then let it ride no longer applies. You could try speaking again. But if you want it to be the miracle that prevents Swan from issuing this command, then
that's more than an Ob 5, my dude. Yeah.
Well, I rolled this. I don't see because the thing is an Ob 5 miracle. I think you got like the Ob 10 miracle is literally like destroying thousands of ships.
Yeah, but there's like four. There is four steps between 5 and 10.
I mean, I think you're muted, maybe.
No, I was just saying that there's 5 steps between.
No, not between them.
I mean, you guys
5 up to 10.
Basically, I want to speak with I want to make it so that everyone in this tent is like, holy shit.
I mean, it sounds like you're using the voice to get another intimidate check to me.
Look, it's a miracle. Okay, this is how I'm ruling it. This is the final ruling. In order to secure yourself another check and change the circumstances and do this socially, like, hey, listen, I'm actually talking with the voice of God here. It's a guidance roll of 5. If you want to make a miracle to literally convince or to stop Swan from committing this danger, it's interceding, and that's an Ob 8.
I'm gonna go for the. Yeah, I'm going for the intercession.
I think that's right, because the miracle brings out the hand of God to pluck the devotee from the danger, or pluck the danger from the devotee.
That's perfect.
Which is really interesting, because you feel like Swan is the one endangering.
He's endangering himself and all of us.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. All right, so I'll use +1 from the.
So those
super solid call, by the way.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's perfect. Base of 8. All right, I will re-roll that. I'm gonna re-roll a failure first with a fate die.
What I want to know though is does the fact that you're a chosen one influence this at all in the obstacle?
Let's wait.
Swan?
That's not for me to say though. Okay.
I don't think so, because I mean, it literally is a devotee, right?
I know. What I'm saying is you could gun it
without me being a devotee.
So now I'd like to re-roll the other 2 successes with my colon.
Doesn't it let you re-roll failures?
That's what
you only have 1 failure.
No,
no, he has 2.
But he re-rolled one of them with a fate die.
They're 2 different things.
I
still failed. It's an extra die.
I mean, you just re-rolled it. I don't think you can re-roll.
No,
if I use the deed point, I could use 2 deed points to re-roll again. That's the exact same thing.
So
that's true.
The fate was a re-rolled success. Is saying it was Adam. What were you doing to give yourself the re-roll here? Was that your fate? That was lucking it. That was lucking your 6, right?
Correct. Fate is already open-ended.
It's open-ended. He's not re-rolling the 6.
So nothing has been re-rolled yet. So nothing has been re-rolled.
No, he just did. He spent a fate to re-roll a failure.
So now I'm spending a call on to re-roll the 2 failures.
But he wants to re-roll a failure he already re-rolled on, which sounds weird to me.
Oh, okay. So you actually rolled 6 dice, but there's 7 dice showing up because it's automatically open-ended. Okay, that it already factors that in. Okay, and so then you just re-rolled a d6 because of your call-on trait vested, right?
No, he re-rolled. He used fate to re-roll a failure.
It's already open-ended, so I can re-roll failure with the fate.
Okay.
But the key issue here is he's trying to re-roll a failure he's already re-rolled.
Yeah, you already re-rolled 1 failure, so your roll only has 1 failure to it right now.
No, because I could do that with a deed.
So I'm not following along, my friend. I'm not sure. Like, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying that I'm not following along. I'm not. Can you walk me through one more time what's going on? So right now you rolled 6 dice. Faith is open ended automatically. So your 6 got re-rolled, giving you 5 successes and 2 failures. Out of your total of 7 dice. And then now you just re-rolled 1 failure because of fate.
So I don't think that now counts as a success.
So now you have 6 successes and 1 failure.
No, I mean I don't know how that works.
Those are not considered different dice. You re-rolled a failure. It's re-rolling, not open-ending.
All right, that's fine.
Right?
I mean,
I agree with your interpretation, Eric, but
I mean,
I completely understand it could be rolled a different way. Like that's, but for purposes of this part, I'm going with this decision right now.
So this is important to note, though, because that means that if I had a deed, I would not be able to double up on my rerolls either.
Deed lets you reroll all failures?
Correct.
Yeah, it only let you reroll 1 die.
All right.
Because you already spent 1 there.
No, I mean, yeah, that's fair. All right, so I need a 6 here. Nope.
Your voice is stricken from you. Or whatever Eric comes up with.
Well, I thought the good one was he will lead the people, right? But
Eric tells me what happens, so I fail by I'm very close, but I fail. I don't.
Yeah. So I mean I love the consequence that I think you get the voice of Abadar, but you hear only the strong walls shelter civilization from the storm, and then it's your voice saying I will lead the building of the wall. I will
march against Arissa.
Yeah.
I'll hold my hand out like for a forearm class. Like, glad to see you're with us, brother.
Yeah, he does it.
Excellent.
And I think you make a fort test, right? I feel like speaking with divine authority and a failure this.
You can demand a fort test anytime.
I'm demanding a fort test or a fort or a steal. What do you think?
I mean,
Ford is if it's training, steel if it's shocking.
Should have a steel test.
Fuck, dude. I don't know which one it is. What do you think it is? I feel like one of those is required here.
I mean, is the steel test interesting in the scene? Because if not, then it's just like post-game awarded to the scene for being like, oh, this is interesting.
Then it's Ford test. Because he made you say words that you didn't want to say. Right? I feel like that has a physical cost to it.
That's reasonable.
Like, I know being a vessel for a god is probably really weird. You don't have the agency to it.
Whatever you want.
I know. But is that interesting? Like, is that as just an extra part of the failure? I think so. I think it's required because like you passing out right now would make sense.
Great. What's my
this were a spell, Niren.
It would be 8.
If this was a spell, it would be Ob 8.
Yep, Ob 8. Oh.
He is going to die.
I will die. That's the thing is if I have to make an ob, if I have to make a tax test equal to the ob of the miracles I do, I will die anytime I do anything above an ob 5 miracle.
Yeah. So
never
faith
mind.
is typically
It's fine, but I feel like we should.
Faith is tax free. It feels like social commentary, right? Faith is tax free usually.
Well,
But
I think
to make ob 8 faith tests and take a mortal wound, I'm totally fine with it. If that's like what happens here, that's fine.
You speak like Reapers for Mass
It's
Effect.
like I literally like speak out and then collapse, bleeding from my face because too much divine power.
You won't be able to lead the army.
No,
if you're unconscious.
No, this is what it is. This is what it is. You are not wounded from this. You are if you do not lead these troops. You're basically like a gaze, right? You are now, you have a crusade. Like you have a holy obligation to do this or you will be wounded.
Okay, so instead of reflecting this through tax, how about this?
So it's not a tax. It's not a tax. This is if you don't do this, you take this wound. Like this is like he's like compelling you to do this.
Here's my suggestion then. Why don't we say
a Sam, geese? Is it a geese?
Sam, yes, it's a geese.
Not gaze. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Sam, if you are cool with this, I think this would be a great way of ruling that. We could say that this now requires you to write a belief about this, and every session you do not earn at least fate for it, you get injured.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not even okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, that seems fair, is that I have to change my faith idiom to be about leading the troops against Narissa. That seems super, super reasonable.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So, just to bring us back to the scene here, I would like to finish my belief, which requires me to get these people to tell me what they need to start marching.
I mean, that's covered with your logistics roles and stuff, right?
Okay, well, then I guess I need to...
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want to get into nitty-gritty details of how many food rations you're bringing with me. Right?
Perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. Thanks, Niren, for that, by the way. And everyone, I like that chat all agrees too. That is the correct way of doing it. That it's going to force you to change your faith belief.
Cool.
So I looked this up, Eric. I think it's an OB 5 logistics test to send several companies of 500 to 600 men in non-homogeneous units.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, well, I'd like to get help from each commander, specifically about what they need.
If you're just sending 500 or 600 men, you're just using one company.
Several companies of 500 to 600 men.
Which is why it's 5. Yeah.
What's the step higher than that on the list?
Sending lances.
How many lances?
100 lances.
That is more appropriate.
You want me to send 100 lances?
You have like that depends on how many you're sending. Depends on how many are you sending.
Javelin logistics is a rare skill. Okay.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I should not have spoken up there. I was questioning how many men we have, not how many you're sending. So yeah, just make the roll appropriate to how many you're sending.
So I am sending the Ironclaw Company.
Wow. Then it's over 100 lances
with the dragoons.
Then it's way over.
I mean, it literally seems to be covered under several large companies of
It's not
non-homogeneous.
It's not. The Iron Claw company is more than just 100 lances. Hello.
+2 ob in countryside. You have already tested logistics within the last resources maintenance cycle.
But we
That's
haven't
something.
tested
Yeah,
logistics yet.
I know, but I'm just reading that out loud to be like, that's good to know.
Yep.
Which makes sense because it takes a lot to feed an army and move things around. That, yeah. Okay.
You would have to roll the one for supplying a battalion or 2 to 300 of 2 to 300 lances supporting a large free company for a year. Op 8. That is more appropriate. Yeah.
You said a year.
Oh, sorry, week. My mea culpa.
Supplying a battalion of 2 to 300 lances and supporting a large free company for 1 week.
That is the closest approximation to what we have.
Are you sending all of our troops?
No.
He's sending the Iron Claws and the Untouchables.
I'm sending the people whose entire purpose is to hunt demons and the reserves. And I'm keeping behind the city guard.
Their point is not to hunt demons, they're cuirassiers.
Okay. No, I dig it. I dig that. Okay. Is it... So, look, it's not listed here, but I feel like an Ob 8 is too much for what this is asking for as a GM.
Really?
Maybe, I mean, listen, I don't know, but like, I just don't feel like you're using lances.
No, a lance is a measure. It's not a weapon.
Right. I'll tell you what. I'll step it back.
Wait. But here's the question though.
Yeah.
This is what it is. Because it's a +1 ob in heavily wooded countryside with a force containing war mounts.
I'll step it
that
back
would be
then.
op 9
I'm
then.
just gonna send the war mount company. I'm just gonna send the untouchable black finger, whatever we call them.
All right, the Untouchables.
The lepers, just the lepers.
Yeah. That is appropriate to a 100 lances.
Oh, that's so good because if they fucking get mad,
They're literally a company of hundreds of men. Like, this is so.
That is just about what they are. Just about 100 lances of men.
All right.
Yeah, they would be considered lances.
Sure.
They don't make up a lot of people, but they are super well equipped and trained.
Remember.
It's a unit measure. And
lances is not a weapon. It doesn't refer to the pointy thing. A lance is an actual measure of people. So 100 lances means 100 knights plus 200 supporting knights plus 400 archers or something. It's like that area of people.
Let's back up.
Holy shit, guys! What the fuck? Hold on.
Are in the black fingers because I don't think, based on what we were describing, that there was more than 600 people in that company.
No, it's not nowhere near 600 people.
It's the black fingers or the untouchables, whatever they're called, are 500 cuirassiers.
Right, so that's Ob 4. Oh wait, no, that's Ob 3. That's a large homogeneous
that's Ob 4. You're looking in the wrong direction.
It's homogeneous.
It's
homogeneous Ob 4.
Yeah, but they're not dismounted. It's dismounted men. These are all
dismounted.
riders. These are cuirassiers. These are all cuirassiers. 100% of them. There is not a single infantryman in the Untouchables.
So it's +1 then. So it's Ob 5.
They're 500. So it's Untouchables. There's 500 men. You're marching them into the woods with horses.
It should be Op 6.
So, ergo, it's Op 6.
That's way more people, though.
No, it's not. It's not that many more.
It's the difference between, like, 600 people and, like, 1,200 people.
No.
100
lances is about 500 people.
Check the second highest, right? Okay, let's just because we're messing too much in this right now. But all right, so supplying several large heterogeneous companies of 500 to 600 dismounted men, large mixed force of foot archers for 1 week, Op 5. Then the second option is supplying 100 lances for 1 week, Op 6. 100 lances.
What I'm saying is you have less people and they're mounted, so it's an Op 5. So 100 lances is way more.
It's 5, but then the wilderness, but then the normal marches provides a +1 obstacle.
Definitely.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
It says there for testing logistics with a force with a majority. +1 obstacle for heavily wooded countryside with a force containing war mounts. which is what they would have, right?
Sure.
That is a good point.
So you're looking. So it's ob 5 plus 1 for the difficulty of the terrain. So it's 6.
Okay. I would like for command.
Consequence to failure here would be minus die, disadvantage die to their operation that they're doing, right? Like their combat effectiveness.
All right.
I think that's reasonable.
It would be like just basically people starving. We're in autumn.
Not per
autumn,
scene. Right? Yeah, like not necessarily per scene, but like just until this is fixed.
I mean,
so until the next logistics roll.
Instead of
you fix this, or you command them to forage or something.
Foraging nuts or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what they're losing, right? It depends on what I have to figure out what the logistics means that they don't have.
If he fails this next session, I'm going to escalate and roll faith to have mana come down from
Oh fuck! Yeah, it could be that their gunpowder is wet or something, or like it just be like things that got left out and
they just don't have enough food.
Yeah, just roll with what's the interesting consequence, right? That's the best one, the best call, like the most interesting consequence that relates to what we're doing here, which is supplying a bunch of people on
this is the setup action. It really depends. I'm gonna save what the problem is until we come up with what you're trying to use them for in the woods, like the actual combat against the creatures of the woods, and then we can judge there what's going on.
Okay. And how long does it take to make this test?
That's a good question. How long does it take to get all these supplies ready to go?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
I mean, I wouldn't think long because it's only for 1 week and it doesn't. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like maybe part of or less than a day. Like the rest of the evening. It's not like we
to gather supplies and prepare supplies. It's not
like we're lacking in supplies. It's portioning
we're already
out.
on campaign, right? They're already intense. Like we're not camped. We're not in a city.
Yeah.
We're not getting ready to go marching.
It probably wouldn't be that hard. Our current situation considered, probably wouldn't take that long.
I feel like the rest of the evening. Can I start making forks now, or do we need to subdivide this conversation?
No, let's make the rolls.
Very well. I'd like to take an advantage die for literally having God come down and say that he's going to run this shit. I feel like that. Oh, come on, Eric. I feel like that's the kind of shit that's going to run through a war camp.
Yeah, but
not the untouchables.
Your supply line.
Really? You don't think that hearing that God was like, "This is sweet. I'm in. Let's do this, bro."
Nah. I think if you were to cure their leprosy, they might have something to say. But
Jesus,
no.
I mean,
also, the word of God doesn't really have anything to do with your ability to administer a supply line.
Right, but it is about morale, which logistics includes.
Morale is an effect that a failed test could have. Logistics is not morale. Logistics is supporting
because
people.
When I asked Eric what I could do to aid a logistics test, morale was one of those things.
Yes, but morale could be like a rousing speech. That's like orator. Like that's not.
Wait, hold on. I think we need to make a decision.
So God talking isn't a rousing speech enough.
No, it's not in front of them. You're just showing up saying like God says that you're blessed.
All right. I would love to go make a linked rousing speech test, Eric.
Yeah.
Why does morale have anything to do with this? I don't. That's
Logistics
fine.
isn't just about food and equipment. It is also about morale. If the troops aren't entertained, they don't march.
Logistics is completely about supplies and equipment and having a supply line that works. Right? It is so your people will not starve. It is so that their armors will not rot.
That's actually legit. What I would say is morale would help you.
Command.
Yeah, it's like there's no need to test morale unless morale is damaged, right? Command is a reactionary role.
Yeah, like that's to negate a disadvantage die for a little bit, right? That's when morale comes into play. That makes sense, right? Like that would be like how to rally the troops to keep marching on. Like, yeah, we got to tighten our boots or belts, like blah blah blah. Like that's when that comes into play.
Are you getting help from the captains though? Because
I feel like I'm gonna get help from their own captain, right? I don't know if the other captains want to help me.
No, Rolf will give you a die, right?
Okay.
Like help from the quartermaster of the Iron Claws is probably more on point.
Well, the Iron Claws aren't coming.
Oh, right, yeah. So
strictly just the
quartermaster
untouchables.
Of the Blackfingers then, or the untouchables. Sorry.
So I want to for command. I'd love to fork oratory, but it's not useful here. I want to fork merchant-wise and supplier-wise.
Yes.
So that's 4
what does
so far.
What does supplier-wise look like? Was that?
Oh, supplier-wise, I mean, come on, it's about supplies. It's literally just like they'll need that, not that. In fact,
but it's not supplies-wise; it's suppliers-wise.
Right. I
know Sam, your headset thing is doing the thing again.
I know the best merchants to go to get this stuff, and quickly, and ready to distribute.
That's what merchant-wise is, right?
Supplier-wise and merchant-wise, I think, have some overlap here.
Right. So what makes what distinguishes them as forks?
Do I need to distinguish between them as forks?
Yes.
I mean,
then you might be doing the same thing. Yeah. Exactly.
I feel like we do that all the time when we set up wises, but okay. All right. Suppliers wise is about finding the right people to move the supplies along to the forest, right? This is making sure that the people who are leading the cargo wagons that bring the fresh fruit or the daily fish catch make it there. Merchants wise is about finding the best people to be buying or acquiring food from inside the city to get it on the supply line.
Yeah, suppliers are like the actual people bringing in the supplies, whereas merchant-wise is the people that are selling him the supplies.
Okay.
All right, and I'd also like to fork administration.
Is that the right skill, or is it bureaucracy?
I don't have bureaucracy.
I can help with bureaucracy.
If you want to help with bureaucracy, I'll certainly.
Bureaucracy would make more sense.
All right, and I also want to fork.
Actually, accounting would make more sense, right?
I mean, I think both of them.
No, accounting keeps track of expenses and income, so that would be like soldiers' wages that you could. But that's not really logistics. Never mind. I don't know why am I trying to argue on your behalf of what you want to
I don't know, because you want to see this succeed, obviously.
No.
I mean, administration, I guess you're giving that a no, so I'd also like to fork haggling. I mean, it's literally the art of the deal, and that's what I need right now, is some pretty good deals from these people to keep things moving smooth.
Yeah, that's within your character.
Solid.
Very well. All right, so that's 6 helping dice versus an ob 7. So I have 8 dice.
We believe.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, but...
Did you take 1 from me for bureaucracy?
Oh, no. So 7 dice. So I might get a routine test out of this.
Cool, and then we get to see the cavalry like trudging through like the Forest Sauvage. So
it's such a bad
sorry,
call.
it's op 6, right?
Why are we sending cavalry into the forest?
The answer is simple. It's because Mason has left the room. Like, that is the reason why the army is being
it's
deployed in the worst possible way.
It's an ob 6.
I mean, no. I know you think you know about this, but a troop that's capable of shooting at something approaching them, then running away faster than it can get to them, reloading their guns and shooting them again sounds pretty efficient to me.
Yeah, but
what the fuck?
That roll!
Holy
that roll!
Shit. Well, I will
remind yourselves that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Holy shit.
Very nice logistics there. So they won't want for supplies, at least.
They won't want for supplies. They feel good about this. Although it is getting fall. It's fall. It's Indian summer, right? It's the heat at the end or like middle of fall where it's warm again.
Oh, we're like in October.
I know, and there's Indian summer where it's where it's like it's that period of heat, you know, before it gets cold again, and so it's like favorable for this
Eric,
couple of weeks.
I noticed you have this wonderful new map made. I've put the kind of route that I'm instructing my soldiers to follow.
I have a map.
Yep, I can drag your. Oh, there you go. Someone already did it.
I did. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
And they're gonna head out and go, like, you know, within the forest edge, so that they can still see out to the edge of the forest, and just do a sweep real quick and report back what they've got.
So,
be hard. Why are there zoomed in pictures of the Sandpoint hinterlands in Magnamore?
I just use those for scale reference. Those are basically to scale. So it's to give an idea of like the detail that is omitted on the maps, like the level of detail, and it was also to give a reference of like how big is Absalom and how big do we want Karasuno to be.
Okay.
So as my final part of this scene, now that I've secured the supplies, I leave orders with my military commanders that the island of Candlemere is to be set aside. Only military personnel will be allowed on it, and that in the future we'll be building a naval base there.
Cool. So that means wow.
That's my way of keeping Mason from going there without talking to me, because Mason's just left my service.
And does
if
this
we want
mean...
to zoom, if we want to zoom back to Mason, I would love to have her getting a letter with 3 cash dice saying, "This is your severance package. Thank you so much for your service."
So I have a question about, because let's not gloss over this this test that's being made here. So if they're just if the Untouchables are just scouting the periphery of the Null Marches, is there a chance that nothing happens to them?
Yeah.
Cool.
Is there a chance they're attacked by things? Yes.
Yeah, that's my point, right? Like, is like we could just be like, yeah, this happens and everything is hunky dory, but is it? That's basically on you, right? Like that's
that's based on Sulius, right? Gonna make have to make some executive decisions.
Good thing I'm great at commanding troops.
Right? So
I mean, I don't think you're leading the troops, right? You're protecting them.
No, he's leading them.
Oh, well, good luck.
Oh,
You're about to get way better or way worse at leading them.
Yeah, are they accepting his leadership? The Untouchables?
That's going to be a question for next week.
All right. So, severance pay, 3 cash dice. Mason will say goodbye to Aurelius, being surprised that he has to go into the Null Marches, but warning you that you should take care of yourself. Beware the acts of the fool, for they will ruin you. And I promise to return as swiftly as possible with knowledge that may be of use to us.
We'll see. Okay. Sick.
And I take my little hobo pack on like that I had in session 1, wrap a bundle of cloth on a stick, and I set out now with more money.
A lot more money. Yeah.
A lot more money.
Yes.
Do you know where you want to go?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I want to go to Skywatch. That is the aim of the travel. So I mount up on Eris and I start riding north.
Okay. And then that's when the closing music comes on, and let's do some experience. Wow.
All right. I feel like I kind of dominated that session. My bad, y'all.
Yeah, but in terms of I don't know, but in terms of like mechanically dominate, yeah, like I don't know, you did really well. I don't know, it was like a mixture of both. You rolled fewer rolls than everyone else here, but you did pass, I think. No, I think maybe Mason actually took the tail end of rolls and successes.
Yeah.
I don't
know. 4 rolls.
Okay. I guess I have a question then that is poignant.
Yeah. What's up?
When doesn't really matter to me, but when I leave, like do I find the fucking cat and bring it with me? Should I add it to my inventory that I have a fucking cat? All right. No. Then I don't want, like, never mind it then. So I don't cast the spell.
Do you ever roll attacks for the spell, or it just fizzles?
Because that's why I'm asking, right? So I don't roll because I don't cast the spell.
Then the spell would be interrupted and you would test attacks.
No. This is what's called dropping the spell. You can just do that.
Nice. So you drop it like it's hot, and let's do some experience, guys. Let's do some. What about our fates?
I mean, I feel like I definitely locked in using Captain Margot to act as my gateway to the rest of the Mivanese for Persona.
I think I should. I thought we were doing fate first.
Oh, we're doing fate?
Yeah, I thought we always do fate.
I thought we'd go down everybody's beliefs.
Yeah. Then we just do like, what is your bits?
Yeah, but that's how we start with. So you get fate for your acting in accordance to your belief, or persona for accomplishing it.
Okay.
How much Arthur do you earn?
Right,
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think I got persona for that. I think I also got persona for beginning the sweep of the Gnarl Marshes, having properly equipped my troops. Fate for I'm responsible to the people. Fate for drawing a steady sword at sorcery, ruining my relationship with Mason. And fate for Imperious. I also
why do you get fate for Imperious?
I mean, I acted Imperious so many times, and it took me down some dark paths.
You don't earn fate for acting on your instincts and your traits.
I do when it takes us down an interesting road, right?
Yeah, and like and
the entire
exactly.
scene. I mean, responsible to the people is one thing, right? Drawing the steady sword is another, and then a third for me versus Aurelius and you in the tent over the issue of the soldiers.
I think that's appropriate.
And I'd also like to take fate for handsome, because I absolutely dived in there and just decided to make my life so much harder to chase after a woman.
No, I don't think so. But that's on Eric.
Eric?
No.
All right. Okay. That's what I got.
Okay.
I'll go next. I definitely should have spent my deed on that faith roll, because I definitely would have gotten a challenging test and advanced my faith. But that's all right. I would argue that I got persona for the Gorham belief. I would argue that I got persona for Mold Breaker on learning all I can about Narissa. I went opposite of that belief as a result, and now I'm going to have to give it up strictly because I have to play opposite to it. Otherwise, I will literally die. I would argue that I got persona for making use of the teacher I have found, because I learned composition. I would argue that I got fate for always assuming divine mandate and always assuming signs of the apocalypse. And then I think I also got fate for faithful, as well as zealot. And I don't know, you tell me if I got fate for the call on, because it's specific, like I used the call on and failed. So I don't really know how that goes. I know using a call on and succeeding wouldn't really usually be fate, but you tell me.
No. I think the benefit of having the call on is that it's a call on trait.
Sure. So that would be 4 fate and 3 persona.
Sweet.
Who else wants to go? AP?
I guess it's just me.
Yeah.
Have you forgotten Daniel again for the second time in the session?
It's okay. We start as we end, right? Like it's as above, so below. So for a worthy rule to sit on the dragon scale throne, I must yada 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 go and find the thing in Skywatch. Fate. Nothing about fate for my second belief too. No fate for my third. Fate for my third instinct. If there's understanding to be gained, do research. I did that. I went with that instinct to the detriment of my employment. And curious, because I need to I wanted to go there. I needed to go there, and this has gotten me into some it's got me out of the service of my current patron. All right, so I will take that. I will take. It's 4 fate. Sweet.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a good session, man. That was an intense one.
That was us pushing, trying to get a lot done. It feels like we still never get a lot done each session, but I feel like what we do is like very important.
I don't know. I feel like we got a lot done. I feel like we got a whole lot done, actually.
I guess.
Secured an alliance with Gorum, secured an alliance with Mivon, decided that we're marching an army into the woods. Like, I feel
into the woods.
Intense discussion with God, but more importantly, we now have the roaming adventures of Flying Mason, and not with a cat, Mr. Mouser.
Yeah.
He'll be there. He'll be waiting when you get back.
What a lovely yet shitty idea.
Yeah.
The perfectest idea.
Your life, and so I did.
It's delightful.
Yeah. Damn. Okay. What are we all doing? Well, who's doing stuff? AP, you do stuff on the internet.
That's true. If for some reason this is the first episode you'd ever watched, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, but not Facebook because Facebook sucks now. At AP Gaming Real on all of those things. I play a lot of tabletop role-playing games, and I continue to do them all the time. And if you have time set aside to watch them, I mean, this is Eric's channel. You should probably watch his stuff instead. That's it. I'm done.
Perfect.
I know.
Wizenfool.
Hello, I'm Sam, aka Wizenfool. I'm going to almost certainly be streaming again. I streamed on Friday, streamed some Dead Cells. I'll probably be playing more Dead Cells later in the week. So come on by for that. And other than that, I am really glad to be back playing. I thought this was a really fun session. I'm still kind of salty about that faith roll because I really wish I had spent my deed points so that I could have advanced my faith. Yeah, that's me.
Hello, everyone. I've been Daniel. You can typically find me when I'm not here doing fun stuff with these nerds, playing RPGs and computer games on the YouTube channel Charisma to AC. Now, I also do streaming, of course. I stream on twitch.tv/Nearyn, Nearyn. And sometimes I use Twitter, getting better at it. You can find me on Twitter at Daniel Akbas. So I'll put that in the chat for you. But yeah, just nerding out, having a good time. Come join me. We're playing Morrowind. It's fun.
Yeah, good game. Okay. Yeah. And I guess it's me. I'm Eric. In a couple hours, in 2 hours, I'm going to be playing Mouse Guard, Whiskers and Whiskey over twitch.tv/Henley. Sunday is my Burning Wheel day. Kind of like how Daniel does a bunch of Burning Wheel stuff on Sundays as well. I do Burning Crowns, and then I do Mouse Guard. Then Tuesday, I'm doing Across the Endless Sea. Wednesday, join us over at twitch.tv/D&D at 4 p.m. Pacific for Misclick's D&D Risen, where I'm the producer for that show. So I do all the OBS stuff. I'm really looking forward to it. I have a bunch of like extra effects that I can do since I'm not actually playing. I'm gonna have a little like I have some animated things that I'm adding into the game that I can like do dynamically because of a Stream Deck and some stuff and some JavaScript. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to be also doing some new stuff for my Twitch stream because I'm an affiliate and I have subscriber stuff. So look forward to actually having some cool. I'm going to make an emote. I'm going to have a little icon if I can. I'm not sure if I can do that yet, but I'm going to have one prepared. In addition, I'm going to have bit monsters that save what they are. If you like Dwarf Fortress monsters, I did that a while ago. I'm going to have it so if you cheer, it creates a monster and saves it for you. So I'm gonna reanimate that going forward. So things come to my streams. So thank you guys for hanging out. Yeah,
hit the subscribe button.
Oh yeah. I do have a subscribe thing now. I'm still doing the Patreon thing, but my Patreon's gonna change because I would prefer to do the Twitch thing and have you support me if you want to via Twitch with cheers and with subscribing. All right.
Sweet.
So that's the big things that I'm thinking of right now. I'm also. Let's see. End of July, early August, I'm doing Olympus Overdrive in Saturdays, which is going to be a sprawl anime game about racing set on Mars. That's going to be fun. And I'm pretty sure my next thing is also going to be Torchbearer related. I was getting really, really good responses from people online about doing a Torchbearer game with permadeath, where if you die on the show, you're off the show. But we're gonna have like an in memoriam kind of thing
That'd
for that,
Sweet.
and do like Darkest Dungeon-y stuff. So
Sounds super fun.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about doing that. I'm gonna talk to Neil about how to do those types of things. But yeah, that's it. So that's all I got. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you later.